Hello, welcome to episode 16 of Aico TV. I'm Holly.
And I'm Darren, filling in for Alex this week.
We've got plenty coming up on today's episode, so let's take a look. We begin today's episode with Helen Knight and Lizzy Coleman from Lingen Davies.
Then we join Andy Speake and Ian Moore from the FIA.
Then we speak to our colleagues who took part in the EIC's Race across Europe.
And we finish up with an FAQ from our Product Development Executive.
So we're going to begin today's episode with our Community Liason, Jane Pritchard. She's going to be speaking to Helen Knight, who is the Development Manager at Lingen Davies, and also Lizzy Coleman, who's the Events and Fundraising Officer. Jane's going to speak to Helen and Lizzy about the charity and its background, their experiences of the pandemic and their upcoming fundraisers.
Welcome to Aico TV. We're really pleased to be joined today by two ladies from Lingen Davies Cancer Fund. Helen and Lizzy, welcome to Aico.
Thank you.
So Lizzy, tell me a little bit about the charity and what you do.
Yeah, so Lingen Davies has been going for 42 years now, since 1979. And we were founded by Bernard Lingen and Frank Davies. And Bernard was the mayor at the time. And he wanted to bring cancer services to Shrewsbury for the first time, because previously to that, patients would have had to travel to Birmingham or Stoke, which for people living in Mid Wales was obviously a very far travel for them. Yeah. So that's kind of the basis of where the charity was founded. And ever since then, we have continued to fund projects and equipment and nurses that help improve cancer services and make sure that they have access to the best possible care that they can have. So as I say, we funded many different things, buildings, nurses. We also fund kind of community projects that go out and help people recover after cancer as well. So we go completely through the whole journey from when they've been diagnosed to right after they've completed their treatment as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And Helen, what's it been like for you the last 15 months? It's been a very difficult time.
Challenging, Jane, I would say.
Yeah.
So actually it has been difficult, particularly for us as a charity, in as much as it was at a stage where a crossroads, if you like, where we were looking to develop the charity. I came on board in May last year, 2020, and we'd also invested in a new administrator, and we were also launching a new community project. So, at that point, we had to make a decision that the offices remained opened. Yeah. I started and kept going. Our chief exec went on maternity leave, added delight, and our administrator started. So we've done okay. Our income, we're 42% down on the previous year, so compared to 2019 to 2020. We have had a drastic drop in income, and that is because Lingen Davies is funded by the community. So all of the projects that we do, all of our fundraising is very much around people having coffee mornings, doing garden parties, etc. And that's what we've become to rely on. And suddenly COVID has stopped all of that, sadly. And so that is why we've had a drastic cut in our income. But the good thing is that cancer services continued. So during the pandemic, people have still been treated at the centre. We still have people who have supported us, and all in all, we've done okay. I think this year has become more interesting, because I think as last year continued, we were all thinking, oh, by then things will get better, and then when we came into this year, I think everybody, and I think I'd speak on behalf of any business or charity, that January to March was particularly hard, both mentally and within any sector financially. I think that's been the toughest thing, and certainly for somebody like Lizzy, and myself that organise events, we just haven't been able to do anything. We had to cancel our colour run, which was due in March, and the opportunity to plan things has been so difficult.
So frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very frustrating. So we have heavily relied on relationships like we've got with Aico, which has been fantastic. And we are starting to see now some confidence in people. We'll talk later about the event that we've launched for later on the year. But things are starting to get a little bit better, and I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I still think that, certainly with the new Delta variant that we're all hearing about, we hear about because we are based at the hospital, so we do get to hear about these things. We are still acting with caution And I think this year will be another year where we will survive and, we will do okay as far as income is concerned, but it remains to be challenging. Yeah. But we're open, we've got the team back together. So, yeah, it's okay.
Sounds great. I love your positivity. It's fantastic.
It is positive. It is, and it's got to be. And we speak on behalf of lots of charities in the county and Wales as well, where we cover, and Telford and Wrekin, etc. All of us have struggled. It's been really, really hard because we rely on the community to help us, and the government rely on us to offer services that they can't afford. So it's important that we keep going. But I'm sure that next year we've got lots of good things to look forward to.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit more about your events, Lizzy. What have you got planned, and how do you want people to get involved?
Yeah, so as Helen said, we've now looked into how we can get people back together now that things are opening up again. So we've got an event coming up in a couple of weeks actually, which links in with the Wimbledon Tennis Championships. So we're encouraging people to host their own, we're calling it a Wimbledon watch party. So it's just to get their friends together, watch a match. You can sign up for a party pack on our website, which has got lots of fun things in it to help with the party, including a selfie frame, which we'd love people to take pictures in and tag us on social media, and just raise as many funds for us as they can, as little or as much as they can. Anything is a massive help right now. As Helen said, our income is down, so however people are able to raise money is fantastic. And then, as you know, we've got our Pedal the Borders event, which is happening on the 25th of July. That's a 100-kilometre cycle event starting here at Aico, going all the way up to Lake Derwentwater and back. It's our first kind of big cycle event that the charity's ever done, so we're really, really excited about it. And obviously it's the first one that we're doing kind of live for the last 15 months, so we're really excited to see people. So if anyone's a keen cyclist or even an amateur, then get involved, really. We've got a training plan included, so if you're not feeling as fit as you possibly could, then that will help you along the way, and we'd just love to see people there and get involved.
Yeah, so how many cyclists have you got signed up so far?
We've got about 110 so far, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
very good.
Really
Good.
My husband has said he'll sign up. I don't think he has yet, but I'll make sure that he does.
Yeah, absolutely. Get him on that.
Yeah,
Give him a glass of wine, Jane. And then and we've had some great corporate support on that, haven't we? Obviously from Aico, who are hosting us here and been our main sponsor for it, but also other local businesses that have got behind it. I think there is a desire to want to do that in the community. So Rick's Petroleum, people may know them as Oakley's, they have sponsored us, and other local businesses. So, it's really, really good to bring that collaboration together. And I think everybody, Lizzy and I probably, and you, Jane, more than anybody, are excited about doing something that's real in the community. And also people, I think during lockdown, lots and lots of people, we were talking about it earlier, weren't we, getting fitter and enjoying cycling and running, and now then to be able to bring that to an actual event with other people and celebrate that, I think will be amazing. So I really do think it's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, it should be a really, really good event.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got Alan involved as well, haven't you?
Yes, of course. Alan from Adrenaline. Yeah, which I know you've worked with before, haven't you?
Yeah. We've got a few different events, but it's nice to have that connection.
Absolutely, and I know he's going to deliver a great event for us. He's been fantastic to work with.
It'll be good.
It's going to be fantastic. Very
The
excited.
Wimbledon event sounds really good. We'll definitely give that a go and get the staff doing a bit of fundraising. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Excellent.
So, so what about other things? I mean, volunteering. What do you do? I know we've worked with you before, haven't we, on a few projects?
So as far as volunteers are concerned, generally, when the pandemic hit, we had to sadly stop because we used to have regular volunteers coming into our office to help us administratively. Which was fantastic. We had to stop all that. We didn't have any events, so we didn't have any of that. So volunteering has very much been on hold. However, sort of since April, when we came out of the first or the third lockdown, when we went back, we've had a few volunteers back into the office. And as we start to do things like Pedal the Borders, and we're also starting to see invitations for us to go to events now. So our volunteering is definitely starting to recuperate and come on board. And an exciting thing as well to mention is that we are just about to set up our first committee within the county. So Shrewsbury Committee, which is being led by 2 existing volunteers, or supporters, should I say, of Lingen Davies, and they've agreed to set up a committee for us. And we've had quite a few applications in for that, so that'll be really good that they will actually come together as a group and start to raise money and awareness on our behalf out in the community. And I'm hoping that will be the first one of a few, so that's exciting. And then our corporates, you came and helped us with our garden last year, didn't you, which was brilliant. So do you give a day to each of your employees, or 2 days where they can choose to do something?
Yeah, it's actually 3 days now.
Is it?
Yeah, we're
Wow.
lucky enough to have 3 days.
That's
and of
amazing.
course, we haven't, like you said, we haven't been able to do nearly, the amount we wanted to do. But we're just getting back into it now and getting a bit on track.
Exactly.
So
as a company, that is amazing, isn't it? What a great idea to be able to say to people, we'll give you the time to go and do something for a local cause, whatever that is that they're passionate about. So we had 3 of your chaps come along with some spades, didn't they? And we were, the Haymar Centre where we're based last year was redeveloped. It looks fantastic, but the front garden, like all these things, they put all the investment into the building, and then sometimes, around the edges gets a little bit forgotten. So the garden was one of those little areas that needed some love. So one of our volunteers at Lingen Davies said that they were going to take it on, but obviously the project gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it? And we invited Aico, and you very kindly sent some chaps, didn't you? And dug over some borders, etc. And to be honest, that is nearing completion. We are getting there now, and we've had some donations from, again, some local businesses of gravel and liners and some plants, etc. So that's all coming together. But we need more of that. We need more businesses coming to us and saying, we would like to volunteer and do things. And there are things that we can give them to do, like the garden, which is easy at the moment with COVID. But the gardening team at the hospital can't do everything that we would love them to do to make it all look beautiful all the time. And the Haymar Centre is a centre where cancer patients come to see us, often holistically, so for counselling, support, perhaps during a cancer journey or after, and loved ones around that person. So it's important it looks nice and it feels welcoming. And so to have people, organisations that can send volunteers in to do that for us is just amazing.
It's just so rewarding, as well as it benefiting you as a charity. It's so rewarding for colleagues. I know I know when they've come back from volunteering, they'll tell us how it's great. When can we go again? So
it's a really good feel factor, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's you come away from volunteering, and I still feel it now, even working for charity, when we go off and do Pedal the Borders, and it's a day that perhaps we'd usually be at home with our family. You feel really good when you've done that day, and everybody's. So it is a really, really important part of anybody's business, really, to give back to that charity and feel part of a community.
Yeah, fantastic. So there was another project that you mentioned to us. Is it the Live Life project?
Yes, so this was the community project that Helen was talking about earlier that was put on hold, unfortunately, due to COVID, but it is restarting up again now. So as you say, it's called the Live Life project, and we've got a lovely lady called Miranda who's running the project, and it's a health engagement project. So she'll be going out to businesses and schools and communities, kind of summer fairs and things, to raise awareness of the symptoms of cancer and working to prevent cancer so that they don't have to come to our centre for treatment. So it gets caught early and they get encouraged to go to the doctor if they see any symptoms. So we're going to get a nice, lovely, pretty van that you can go out in, which will look great. It'll be branded Lingen Davies. So if you see us anywhere, come and have a chat. But yeah, like I say, it's just to get out in the community and really push that message of prevention to stop people getting to the centre.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah,
really good.
And again, for businesses like Aico, we did a recent project with Veolia, where we offered them some advice on skin cancer awareness. So bin men and the recycling centres where they spend so much time outside, it's important for them to cover up and we gave them some sun cream, and Miranda did a presentation on skin cancers. So if there are businesses out there, and open to you as well at Aico, obviously, Jane, that if you did want us to come and talk about healthy living, to prevent those cancer diagnoses, then, you know, we're there. That's exactly what we would love to do.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. So, I mean, you know, we do an awful lot with sort of like health and well-being.
Absolutely.
So that sounds
important.
really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a great project, and Miranda's very well placed to do it, and it's a great time to do it as well.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's been delayed, but we're ready now.
Yeah.
We're ready to go out and play.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very, very much for coming. You know, it's been
having
lovely
us.
to hear about all the things that you've got planned, and
Thank
as we
you
come
for
out of
having
these, you know, restrictions, get back on track.
And thanks
really
for all
looking
the
forward
support
to
from
it.
Yeah,
Aico that
thank
they
you.
give to Lingen Davies,
No,
because
you're
we
more
do
than welcome.
really appreciate it.
We do.
So thank you to Helen and Lizzy for joining us in the studio. It was great to hear about Lingen Davies and the great work that they do. I can say for all of us at Aico that we're excited to be taking part in their Wimbledon fundraiser event in the coming days, so that's going to be good. Right now we're going to go over to a quick break, and we're going to be looking at our SmartLink Gateway.
Introducing the SmartLink Gateway and Cloud Portal service from Aico. A new and innovative product developed with registered social landlords and housing associations, giving you complete control and reassurance when monitoring and maintaining your stock of alarms through SmartLink Cloud Portal. Easy to set up, the gateway is a roaming 2G GSM-based device, ensuring maximum connectivity possible without the need for local broadband or Wi-Fi services, increasing efficiency while remaining compliant with legislation. Featuring real-time alarm status, fault status, text alert and email notification capability for both fire or CO and fault events, as well as installation reports and replacement and fault reports. The SmartLink Gateway and Cloud Portal service is your total solution for alarm maintenance and asset management. The smarter way to check your tenant safety at any time. SmartLink, a revolution in tenant safety.
Welcome back. Next, we join our National Technical Manager, Andy Speake, as he sits down with Ian Moore, Chief Executive Officer at the Fire Industry Association. We will hear about Ian's role within the FIA and have a look at the changing landscape of the industry.
Afternoon, I'm Andy Speake, the National Technical Manager at Aico. Today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Ian Moore, the CEO of the Fire Industry Association. So welcome, Ian.
Thank you very much, Andy.
So I gave you a very brief introduction. Probably better if I hand over to yourself to talk a little bit more about yourself and what you do within the FIA, really.
Yeah, I've been doing the role for about 5 years now, and the CEO's role is I always describe it as making less tea than anybody else. It's pretty much, we're all very much embraced into what we do together anyway. But most of it is around the liaison between the members, and I'm absolutely proud to say it's nearly 1,000 members now.
Wow.
It is Europe's largest fire trade association by some way. And not really a bragging thing, it's more a case of the actual depth that's got and of experience. And added to that, of course, we've got a whole lot of strength when we talk to government, and I spend a lot of time speaking to MHCG, MHCLG, Home Office, DIT, and they realise we're representing such a large chunk of UK PLC.
Absolutely.
They listen to what we're saying. So my job is really the strategist of the FIA, and I'm blessed with a wonderful team behind me, and I think we're doing a really good job at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had Will on Aico TV a couple of times now. He's becoming a regular, so that's been really good.
As long as he didn't tell you any of his awful jokes, I think you'll be okay.
Luckily off camera, so we've saved the audience on that one at least. So, but you mentioned FIA is the biggest in Europe. Of course, there's Your Alarm as well. So I know a little bit about Your Alarm. I'm not involved myself, but how are they working
we're very
closely
much.
with them?
I mean, we're a lot of the secretariat areas for Your Alarm. We have Rob Tilthorpe sitting and Neil Budd, who you know, sitting within that. Our former chair is the chair of Your Alarm, Martin Harvey.
Right, okay, so it's close links.
And we work in Peter Massenberg Monday. We've got a lot of people working at different levels, and Alan Elder.
Yeah.
So we have lots of people working in different sections. So we pretty strong in the fire and the extinguishing sectors of Euralarm. And the Euralarm is kind of the trade association of trade associations, as it were.
Right, okay.
That's the best way to describe them. But they're extremely useful to us for many, many times because of EN standards, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, their influence within Brussels. But of course, Brexit, that good old B word, which we thought we'd never mention ever again.
Yeah.
I start getting a twitch in my eye when I think about Brexit. Post-Brexit, it's good to see the strength as good as ever been, because membership to, you know, is SEN. It's not about EU membership.
No, absolutely not.
So looking at EN standards and everything else, and our involvement hasn't changed. And none of our European partners, and I call them truly that, have not distanced themselves from us because it's a political move, not a change in thought patterns.
Absolutely. No, it's good that BSI is very much still is involved in the SEN and the SEN-elect standard drafting process. That's really good, even if there is a bit of ongoing confusion over the CPR, but that's probably a conversation we won't have today. But yeah, I know you've been very involved in the Brexit UKCA marking and trying to, not just FIA, that was with BSIA, is that right initially? Was that a joint?
Initially, yeah. I mean, we looked at a number of ways of approaching this, and of course, the bigger the better. And as I mentioned before, one of the advantages of having 1,000 members, people, government-wise, listen to size of membership. So we joined with BSI because we have very similar thoughts and problems with this.
Requirements, yeah, be very similar, yeah.
Very much so, yeah. Ours is slightly different in the way of being life safety predominantly, and the CPR issue is the main one. So I'm sure you know anyway, but you know the UKCA mark is changing from the CE mark, and I think the utter frustration for everybody in the industry, it doesn't increase quality in any shape or form. Yeah. It's a bureaucratic change that we have chosen to do. Yeah. We haven't gone down the path of challenging that at the moment about what they're doing with this. We try to be pragmatic and to think about what we can change. And the timescales is the main issue. They're looking by the end of this year to have everything UKCA marked, and it is physically impossible. The certification approval bodies are not ready.
They're very much behind.
No, and they're not allowed to talk to each other until the government set up this organisation that allows them to speak to each other. Yeah. So they're not prepared. A few companies have gone down this path already. Great. Everybody's been told to be prepared, but as you can probably imagine, most people, it's all 11th hour things. But it is a huge problem coming our way, and we've written to BEIS ministers and various other people. I wrote to the Fire Minister about a week ago, and BEIS replies were just bland and copy-paste from other documents. It was quite extraordinary, their lack of understanding about the potential problems.
Yeah, what did I read? Something like potentially up to estimated 20 million it's potentially expected to cost UK businesses.
Yeah, it's going to cost the UK fire businesses that anyway, whatever happens. But the unreasonable timescale. So we've asked for an extension, and there is a case in point because the medical devices have been given an extension. Yeah. Perfect. So they can do it if they want to. Yeah. And it's for us really to explain to them the consequences if they don't. We've laid it out pretty clearly. We've had a great meetings with special interest groups discussing it, got everybody's view in. Not everybody's view is the same, but we have to be democratic about it. That's what a trade association is about.
Absolutely, yeah.
And represent the consensus. And the consensus is, let's not fight the actual UKCA mark. Let's just try and get an extension. It gives us time to, one, prepare, and two, to look at the actual finite details of this.
So at the moment we're at with that, would it be a case of prepare for the, if you can't change, just in case, and in the meantime, do continue negotiations, really, I suppose?
Yeah, we need to get on with it. But the government just need to be a lot clearer because people, they're going to be invested millions if they've not done so already. And so every day, and I did say to them the other day on a meeting, I said, stop procrastinating. You know, you've got to say we're talking about things. It's costing the industry millions.
Yeah, absolutely. We only manufacture in Shannon, Southwest Ireland, so not a million miles away, still in the EU. But even the Brexit thing caused us a few challenges, unexpected, but luckily we got over them. But yeah, it is a big undertaking, and yeah, it's good that you guys are doing what you are. It's great that the SIG's ongoing, investigating this, and the right people are involved in that. So keep us informed, really.
Trying to do our best on that one.
Another topic I know the FIA has been very much involved in and is a very hot topic with our customers, but equally within the fire industry full stop is that buzzword IoT. IoT could be anything. Internet of Things is probably a good example, but everything's talking to the cloud now, whether that be fridges, smart intelligent lighting, so it's no surprise that fire alarms, fire detectors, the FD&A industry, fire industry, it's going much IoT, and that's something that the FIA's now set up a SIG to investigate that really.
It's a natural progression. I mean, moving forward technology. I mean, one of the problems I've always found historically is about stifling innovation in the fire industry. And it's unbelievably frustrating for a number of people, and I've been through that, as I mentioned to you before, with the Queen's Award thing for innovation, with the video smoke detection. So we know that the barriers that people come across with an innovative solution that nobody wants to listen to. I do get it in some areas. It's a life safety product.
Absolutely.
So you've got to test it to death basically to make sure it does exactly what it says on the label. I get that. But there's got to be a better forum for doing this. And IoT, I think, is a classic, the way it's coming, that it's going to trample all over the fire industry and the security industry and the high-vac industry. It'll just become merged into one. We all know this is coming anyway. And you look at examples, and I was looking one the other day with like a fisheye lens, for instance, in the middle of a room. Now, algorithms are so good in machine code, and you can see smoke as we developed, you can see flames, you can see leaks. You can change the temperature in a room by having something like a trefoil that changes on the wall. You can see facial recognition, so you don't need access control, you don't need smokes. Sorry to say this. You don't need these different sensors. There's a whole thing this one thing can do. It's a way in the future, but if you look at where that goes, all your Star Trek movies and everything else, they don't have these things around the room. It becomes almost fully embracing. But right here, right now, IoT is very real, and it makes things a lot more efficient, much better for data gathering. I saw some of the stuff you were doing earlier, very impressive. And the data gathering, data is everything in the way of analysing environments. So we're very much behind it. We're running a very strong report. Your Alarm saw us writing this.
Of course, yes.
Extremely excited about it, and so we've now brought those into the fold. And we've been running this SIG and several reports. In fact, we're about to put a big report out.
Of course, yes, I saw that. Yeah, really good report. Yeah, well, absolutely. I think it's a right time. It needs to be done. The entire industry's involved in it in different degrees and in different ways. So I think having the SIG is right. We're massively, and you hit the nail on the head with data. It's so important. But equally, how that data is managed. We've got a chap who's been doing his a lot of research. It's going to be academic research, going to be freely publicised, but about ethical data gathering. And obviously, IoT is great, but managing it ethically. There's, to quote Spider-Man, great power comes great responsibility, and it's absolutely true. When you're gathering this data, you need to be able to know how to manage it, how to securely put it there, privacy, and so that's something that we're very involved in. I personally feel very passionate about, and it's great that as an industry we are looking at ways of doing forward. Yeah, because it's multiple sensors now talking to one another, and it can the potential it provides for finding out information that was just never physically there before. Really, for one example that I could use is carbon monoxide alarms. Not CO events necessarily aren't recorded. We know there's a lot more CO events out there than ever happened. People either think they're false alarms, discount them. By the time medical investigation, carbon monoxide can have exited the body, so unless you can actually test on the breath within an hour of a CO event, there's very little evidence that it ever existed really, and open a window and all sorts of things. So there's a lot of event data that goes on that would never be seen, and that's just one example where IoT potentially can provide not only help towards the industry in giving us massive data sets, help medical industry, help governments make informed decisions and things like that, but equally, most importantly, save more lives.
That's the holy grail.
That is it, exactly. If somebody's taking the alarm off the base plate because their alarms, they think it's a false alarm, purely because CO's there.
Because the battery's low, and I'll get round to that some other time. You know.
But if he's pinged a message off to somebody to say, look, they've had a CO alarm, that occupant's then taking it off his base plate, probably thinking it's a false alarm, then that's a fantastic opportunity of where IoT has saved that life. Yeah. So you can probably tell, very passionate about it. I think it is the future of the industry, really. Well, not just our industry, every industry. It's all going this way, really. It's just doing it.
They'll all merge.
Right.
I mean, the building management systems of old used to take care of that type of thing. Yeah. They're actually becoming meshed into one system now and become much more usable. These are not high-end capital type buildings anymore. Right the way down to domestic is using this, and it's not going away. No. Well,
we've got the golden thread. Another buzzword, hot topic ongoing. So again, digital record. You've mentioned about building management systems, but BIM is again featuring more and more. Probably feeds into that. It will into that golden thread, the BIM side of things, really. A lot of our customers have their own, whether it be building management, asset management, CRM system. There's a multitude of different software that they want to get their data into as well. So being able to talk to all these different systems. So it's
there's also some more clunky ways of doing it as well, which we don't even do to that level, about putting information together. We built a building safety information portal, and this is on the back of the EWS form debacle about people having zero value flats. Yeah. So we stepped up and built this anyway ourselves, and it's going really, really well. It's accelerating quite fast. So people can, but it's the accreditation side of things, and again, it's all about data. So people put down their credentials, we check them. If they're eligible to sign the forms, then they can upload their forms. We check the forms. Yeah. So we're starting to build up this database. But you know, golden thread you talk about, you've got premises information boxes now going into all these high buildings. Yeah. So I'm talking to Home Office and various people about that, saying, well, why don't you digitise that information, put it on the same portal for the same building, and then you start building up all of that information. So as soon as you put a postcode in, or the building name, there it all is. Select. So much more sense. You want to see the risk assessment, you want to see the EWS form, you want to see the premise information box. Start building up a depository for all this information. I
think digital's got to be the way for that, really, because
it's ever changing.
It
can be audited as well, of course. That's another thing. I mean, it's pretty well known in some of the smaller environments with the logbook. There was an incident, they turned up, the ink would be wet from the last 5 entries, you know.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
No, so having it digitalised, you can't hide, you know, and it's really about taking responsibility, and there's the title, responsible person for the building. Taking responsibility for that, and it's digitally trackable, you know, and audited.
Fantastic. I could carry on talking about IoT and technology till the cows come home, but is there anything else, FIA in particular, that's going on at the moment that you'd like to mention?
Well, not really. I think there's an awful lot of areas we're trying to stay involved with. We do get pulled in with working groups. I mean, we're running up to 100 working groups at one time. So we've got phenomenal support from the membership. So it's apart from being the FIA doing these things, the actual club of the members are doing this in their own ways. Yeah. So the working groups are really specified, you know, the Building Act and the Fire Safety Act, and all these different things that are changing as we're going along, getting involved. Competency is our #1 word.
Yes.
And I mean,
wasn't there an announcement the other day regarding a new standards relationship with FIA?
Yes. Is
that right? I'll let you talk more about that than I, because I only remember briefly seeing it the other day.
Yeah, we're doing there's a lot of areas with competency. I mean, we're working with, for instance, the Welsh Government. Yes. And we're trying to help put together a package of training, because we still remain one of the biggest trainers in UK. I think we train about 5,000 people a year. Yeah. And you will know, we're actually an awarding organisation. But we're working with BAFE to transfer that across. It's reached a natural time of maturity. It needs to be independent. So, I mean, BAFE was born out of FIA as well. So it's the right time, and they're going to do a great job with it. Yeah. But the qualifications are really what it's about. It's about defining competency. Because you and I will both say we're competent in our job. Others will probably say not.
Surely.
I get that frequently. But there's a way of people actually working on the life safety system. You should be able to define what competency is, and then teach people to that level, and then check them on that IO qualification. And so we're working with a number of bodies in a number of areas about competency. And I'd say Judith Hack's report, 152 times she said the word competency.
Yeah, she's a big fan of it.
There is a very clear message there that she put a finger on, and rightly so.
Yeah, great, fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, so thank you very much. And all the best. Thank you.
Nice speaking to you, Andy.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Thank you to Ian and Andy. It's really interesting to see where the sector is headed in the future. Next up, we have a quick ad break, and we're looking at our installer community.
Next up, we're going to sit down with our colleagues Lee Duffy and Michael Wright and Alan Lewis, the founder and owner of Adrenaline Sporting Events. Some of the team here at Aico, along with Alan, took part in the electrical industries charity Race Across Europe recently. It was throughout May, and altogether they cycled 1,606 miles, virtually across Europe. So we're going to hear from the team about their experiences, the challenges that they faced along the way, and just to see them reflect on their experience. So let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Lee Duffy, Operations Manager for Aico. This morning I'm joined by...
I'm Michael Wright, Product Manager at Aico.
And...
Alan Lewis, and I'm from Adrenaline Sporting Events.
Mike, can you tell us a little bit about the event that we've just taken part in?
Yeah, so it was an interesting one. We've just completed, we're part of the team from Aico that's just completed the EIC Race Around Europe virtual challenge. So it was 1,600 miles, quite a long distance, virtually around Europe. We were a team, as well as Matt and Neil, a team represented Aico. There were 8 teams in total, and yeah, we've just recently completed it, so it's glad that we're sitting down and resting our legs. So, but it was good challenge. I thought it was interesting, good to participate in, and yeah, it'd be good to knock around how we find it. So I don't know how you find the challenge, Alan. It was good bringing you in and into Team Aico.
Yeah, so I guess for myself, really, to be invited on to the Aico team was really nice, because I'm obviously the only one that's external. So yeah, the weather was a challenge, but you know, as a team we encouraged each other through, and we got there in around 3 weeks, didn't we? So yeah, you know, the motivation from everybody daily was really helpful and really good, and we raised a nice amount of money.
Yeah. It's a good point you make about the weather, actually. I think I'd blocked that out of my mind. I'd almost forgotten how bad the weather was. I think that was probably the toughest part of the challenge, just dragging yourself out every day. Yeah. I remember one ride, I went just 15 miles up the road at the bypass, and it was torrential rain, and the lorries were coming past, and I was getting spray, and puddles and mud, and it was just awful.
Yeah,
And
it was certainly, it was relentless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Oh, did you have any really good rides, Mike? Any really good routes?
It was a good one actually. It was a trade-off really between trying to get the distance in, so trying to stay flat, but where we live around here, just on the border with Wales, it's as you both know, some good hills that we ended up going up. So we went out to over just across into the Welsh border, and some of the climbs there, and then past Chirk Castle, local castle here. So
nice, yeah.
It was a great route, but similar to yourselves, weather was so bad on some occasions, it was indoor on Zwift, and that was it. Just the virtual rides just ticking over really. So it was a difficult one, but I don't know how you found sort of fitting it in for yourselves. Just trying to
early mornings, sometimes in the evenings, anything just to dodge that weather. It was literally look at the weather forecast and then decide which gap in the day was suited best for riding my bike. So just fitting it in as and when, really. I don't think we had many dry rides, but we got there. So that was the main thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't many. You make a good point about the trying to balance the hill training versus the getting the distance in. Because you can cycle on a flat route and you can get your mileage in, but you're not gaining much in terms of fitness. So it was a real balance between the two. But I always ended up going flat. I cheated. If you head in one direction from my house, it's flat all the way. So I was always doing that. Got a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
But one thing I found, I don't know about you guys, but I found with it being a virtual event, if we'd gone away for a week, 2 weeks, and just ridden, it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
But trying to fit in the virtual event around your day-to-day life, I found a real challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
I found it really difficult to fit it in around family life, work life. So I found that really difficult.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your normal day-to-day is still going on, and especially you've got as you say that normal family life, and then you're either doing sort of very early mornings or evenings or whatever, trying to fit the bike in, and maybe a long ride on the weekend. So.
Yeah.
And then you get the ping of an email from a teammate.
Yeah.
They've done 20 miles and it's 6 o'clock at night and you're thinking, oh, I better go.
That was a good part of it, though, that was.
Yeah.
Sending each other our daily updates, I think, was a really good part of it because it kept us going. I was like, I haven't done anything today. And every other member of the team's done 20, 30 miles. I really need to get out.
Yeah.
It did help you get that motivation to get out, and even if it was raining, a bit miserable, get out there, get back in the saddle. Yeah, but it was tough. I was mainly doing early mornings. So usually 5 a.m, wet, cold. I actually bought two bits of lycra. I bought some winter lycra. I thought I'm not going to get much use out of this. And then I bought some summer stuff as well. And I don't think I wore the summer stuff once because I think it was all savage winter rides.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, fully geared up. But it was, as you say, it was motivating. Uploading all the rides and seeing everyone's distance come in and thinking, oh God, I've got to do more tomorrow.
Bit of group pressure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Keeping things going. But no, it's good. I mean, we did over 100 miles each a week on average if you split it out. And 6 weeks allocated for the challenge, completing it in 3 weeks. I think we did really well. Especially, I've got a couple of other members that aren't here, Neil and Matt.
Yeah.
And both. Weren't sure about signing up to the challenge.
Apprehensive.
After doing the distances we've done previously in other events, but they both did really well, I thought.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Did really well. So.
Proper team effort.
Yeah.
I was quite jealous of your indoor setup. At one point when it was raining, I started Googling how much it was going to be to buy the whole setup so I could just ride indoors. I didn't do that in the end.
Take over the living room.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice having that there because, as you say, like fitting things in, and I could just quickly jump on that for an hour or whatever, and it was quite nice actually just watching the rain and not being in it.
No, we were in it.
I didn't avoid it for me, but
tough going.
It was good, but great cause, I think. EIC, and fantastic that it's the electrical industry's charity, and
it's our charity, isn't it?
To support, so big thank you to all the sponsors and everyone that's supported us. And I suppose for me, don't know what it was for you gents, but seeing the donations tick in as well,
it helps that motivation, doesn't it? Definitely.
When the legs were sore and thinking, I've got to go and do the same tomorrow.
That was a good amount raised.
Yeah.
So I think we've raised now something like £10,000 for the EIC. I think that's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, well, they're a brilliant charity. They're our charity, aren't they? They're the electrical industry's charity. So
Yeah.
they're for us, really, aren't they? They support our family and friends should we have any problems. So I think this is a brilliant challenge.
Definitely, yeah. To read about all the great work they do for everyone in the industry, and the fact they are there and have supported so many, and Aico work very closely with the electrical industry, Neil in particular, and yeah, it's great we're able to support them, and as you say, they're there for anybody that needs to call them, needs that support. So
it's a fantastic amount of money though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think you can still donate as well. So I think the link's going to be on screen. So I think people can still donate if they want to. So it's been brilliant. So I had a fantastic time. I think it was a great challenge. It was difficult. It was, as you said, the weather made it the most difficult. But I suppose really being us, what's next? What's next for us? What's our next challenge going to be?
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, we start this Saturday, I guess, don't we? Again, we haven't really had much time to recover, but obviously the partnership between Adrenaline Sport and Events and Aico continues on Saturday with the midnight ride, and then it's closely followed by some running challenges and some more biking challenges, and it'll be really nice to have all of your Aico colleagues involved either in a participation element or a volunteering side. So yeah, no rest for the wicked, and just 5 days away from the midnight ride on the longest day of the year.
Sadly I can't do that one because it looks like it's going to be a great ride, but unfortunately I can't. Too many commitments, I can't do that one, which is a shame. But I'm doing the next one, which is Pedal the Borders. I'm doing that one. Yeah,
and we've got you in for Brinkinnup.
Yeah, Brinkinnup Running Festival. I'm doing that one. Yeah, I haven't decided if I'm doing 10k or 20k yet.
Right.
We'll see.
See how the body holds up.
Yeah. It's been a while since I ran 20k, so we'll see. I'm not sure I can still do that. We'll see. So hoping to do 20k, and then Oswich 10k.
Afterwards,
coming up, so it's pretty relentless summer. I think I've got a couple of other events in the middle as well. So no rest for the wicked, as you say.
Yeah,
it's all good fun.
Nice to have things to look forward to.
Definitely.
Something to keep you focused, isn't it?
Yeah,
always having something in the diary just keeps you motivated, and that was why this was a great challenge to do. Knowing that with the cycling events coming up, that you had to get out. You have to get out supporting charity. It's great to justify the fitness. Yeah. Justify the fitness training.
100%.
Yeah, it was really good, really useful.
I think it's it brought us together as a team as well, doing the challenge, and obviously bringing others in and people supporting us, and I think it's the same for the events you mentioned. Isn't it? It's the training and, like you say, the build up. Yeah. Everybody's getting involved, and it just that motivation. Yeah.
It's lovely to come together. For myself, seeing people coming together on start lines, finish lines, celebrating the success that they achieve on event day is really rewarding, and seeing a big group of Aico people is really nice, and a big part of what we've been building up to. So it's good.
That's the great thing about the partnership that we've created as well, because it gets all of our colleagues together behind a common goal, which is to get fit and to compete in an event, which is brilliant. It's great having a social element, but it's not very good for you going out and drinking 20 pints every weekend. So this gives them a real focus with the intent for them to be fitter, healthier, and to do something together, to bring people together. It's really good. No, it's really good having these events all through the summer. It's going to be
exciting. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, excellent.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, well, thanks guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good to catch up.
Having me on board as the only external team member. So thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
To be part of the team. Yeah,
thanks.
Well done, gents.
Okay, thanks guys, and thank you everyone for joining us.
It was great to hear from Team Aico there about their experiences with the race across Europe. I can't even imagine what it would be like to cycle that far, so hats off to them. They did a really good job. You may have heard Alan speaking about the upcoming events, the Midnight Ride being one of them, which happened last weekend, and it was hosted from our headquarters here in Oswestry. And again, we had lots of our colleagues taking part and also volunteering, and that was a really great day, and we're looking forward to the upcoming events. So now we're going to head over to Darren, and she's going to tell us about this week's FAQ.
This week's FAQ will be answered by our Product Development Executive, Samuel Marston, and he's going to take us through how to add a product to the SmartLink Gateway.
Adding a product to an Aico SmartLink installation. In the SmartLink app, press View Installations. If your property does not appear on the list, press search installations, enter the UPRN of the property, press search, select it from the list. Then you'll be returned with a list of all the products installed within that installation. To add an alarm, press edit, add unit, scan, locate the QR code on the product. As this is an EI 450, the QR code is on the bottom of the product. We will then input the location of where we have installed this product. As is an EI 450, we will be installing it within the hallway. Pressing next when done will prompt you to put the product into house coding mode. Pressing next when done. We will then put an existing alarm within the system into remote house coding mode by pressing and holding the house coding button until it flashes red, blue and green. This will then put all other SmartLink enabled products into house coding mode. Pressing next when done. The app will then give you a number of flashes that the gateway should be indicating via the house coding light. As there are now 5 products within the system, it should be flashing 5 times. When confirmed, press count confirmed, finish, and then seal the SmartLink gateway via the house code light button on the top. The yellow GSM light will then come on to indicate the new profile being uploaded to the cloud. Pressing next when done will then return a green cloud to indicate that everything has been uploaded correctly. And that is how you add an alarm to an existing SmartLink gateway installation.
Thank you to Sam for this week's FAQ.
So that is almost everything we've got time for today, but before we go, we just need to tell you about our mobile training and demonstration units, which are officially back out on the road as of last week.
Yep, so we've been all over the UK delivering our expert installer training.
Yeah, where have we been? Plymouth, Dartford, Fife,
Rugeley.
All over the place, and many more places scheduled in over the coming weeks as well. If you are interested in becoming an expert installer, visit our website using the link below. And there's also our installer community online, which you are eligible to be a part of once you've done your training. But that is all we've got time for this week. So thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so.
And please follow us on social media.
The following channels, which are LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, and see you next week.
Bye.